My department is investing an unprecedented £2 billion in active travel over the course of this Parliament. This is the biggest ever boost for cycling and walking.
Right, let's go to Dr. Neil Hudson. Neil.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In Cumbria, we are spoilt for choice when it comes to walking and cycling routes, such as the Hadrian's Wall Trail, Coast to Coast and countless Wainwrights. As well as being hugely important for physical and mental health, many businesses in my constituency depend on tourism, and by encouraging visitors, it will assist the recovery of these businesses. Does my honourable friend agree that now is a great time to enjoy the beautiful Cumbrian countryside by walking and cycling, and that longer-term projects like reopening Gillsland Railway Station will improve the accessibility and connectivity of our region, which will make these activities easier to enjoy?
Yes, I absolutely do encourage people to cycle and walk in Cumbria, and indeed I welcome the bid for funding from Gillsland Station, and visited it only last Thursday to see what it looks like for myself. We'll announce in due course whether the bid has been successful, but if successful, it will unlock funding for the production. The money will unlock funding for a strategic outline business case that could see fantastic development at a station that has huge potential for tourism and other things.
Minister, another substantive.
We are working with the rail industry to develop a number of recovery initiatives focused on restoring passenger confidence in travelling by rail.
Right, let's go to Tony Lloyd. Tony.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I say to the Minister that yes, any steps to encourage people post-COVID to regard rail travel as safe have got to be welcomed. But would you recognise that the very poor quality of the train service between Rochdale and Manchester, for example, a major commuter route, poor quality trains, unreliable service, is a handicap both to commuters but also to the economic development of the town of Rochdale? What is going to be done about this in the short term? We need the government to act.
Yeah, I thank the honourable gentleman for his question, and actually a huge amount is being done whilst there are fewer passengers on our network. When passengers return to travelling, hopefully as they previously did, between Rochdale and Manchester, I'd like to think they will not find a Pacer train being used, because they have been replaced by new fleet. I'd like to think they'd find these trains in spotless conditions, because they are unbelievably clean. And also we're working on there's been a big consultation that he will know about trying to sort out some of the very, very big structural problems that we have with infrastructure such as the Castlefield Corridor and the timetabling of trains through it, where we're trying to have a short and medium and long-term solutions to this very thorny problem, which will guarantee much better service in the long run.
Senator Minister Tamlin.
Thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, the government's approach to recovering our railways is chaotic. They have introduced inflation-busting rail fares while freezing fuel duty. They talk about the green agenda, yet fail to commit to a rolling programme of electrification. They talk about levelling up, but have put into doubt dozens of key rail infrastructure projects. They brought franchises back into public ownership just to pay risk-free profits to private companies. And, Mr. Speaker, where are the flexible season tickets for cash-strapped passengers? All hidden, no doubt, in the long-promised Williams Review, which never seems to arrive. So my question to the Minister is simple. Doesn't the British public deserve much better than this?
Well, I don't recognise the picture the honourable gentleman has painted. We have electrified way more miles of rail than any previous Labour government. But actually, there's a huge amount of money that's going into our rail system at this point in time. The government has stood behind the railways to the tune, it'll be near £12 billion over the course of the last year, money that would not have been able to be spent under a Labour administration, because the economy would have been in tatters and we would have been in a very different place.
Sharon Hodgson. Sharon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As he said, the proposal to reopen the Leamside line in full is being considered as part of the integrated rail plan. Now, we were told to expect an answer in March, then it was April, and now we are almost in May without any further news. So when will my constituents expect to find out if this government intends to follow through on its promise to level up from Westminster to Wearside?
Oh, we certainly intend to follow through on our promises to the people in the North East and Wearside, something that decades of Labour disinterest in that area have failed to deliver. Ahead of finalising the integrated rail plan, we are fully considering the evidence from all stakeholders. We've had an awful lot. And I'd just like to remind the Honourable Lady, who I know does support this scheme, but this scheme was driven by local campaigners at the start with a guy called Christopher Howarth, who was a Conservative campaigner, and there was little interest from her party or its representatives before he got involved.